CJAD 800.
You shouldn't be on your phone, and whatever it makes it easier for the cops to get you off the road and learn your lesson, that's it.
I'm a big time yay on this, but it comes with a condition. At the same time, I want to be equipped with body cams.
Drones who invade your personal space is really weird, and it's just going to get worse and worse. I swear, people here, every time there's a new law that comes in, they're like, yes, give us some more. We love it when you guys ruin our freedom. It's so horrible. I don't know why. One day they're going to realize that it's just not going to be okay. And me, as someone who's young, I grew up, and the more I grew up, I realized the less I have freedom.
Elias, I don't know. Have you paid attention to a lot of these cars? I'll use Tesla, Subaru, where they got a television screen as a dash.
Yes.
They're massive.
Massive
if that's
screens.
Not distracted driving. I don't know what is. It's totally crazy. And, you know, our rights are like muscles, as auditors in the States say. Your rights are like muscles. If you don't use them, you lose them.
I do not want to be given a ticket by a remote camera. You know, there's a human being at the end of it, but they're hiding behind it.
Yeah.
I think you want to give me a ticket? You do it face-to-face like a human being.
That's a little snippet of what you had to say yesterday when we talked about this story out of Kingston, Ontario, because police there are using drones to catch distracted drivers using their smartphones behind the wheel. But there is some backlash. One constitutional rights group says it's an invasion of privacy. They say it's a charter rights violation. So we wanted to talk to a constitutional lawyer and get his take on this. Frédéric Bérard's on the line from GBM Lawyers and a law professor at Université de Montréal. Hi, Frédéric. Welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Elias.
So what do you think on this one? Cops using drones to catch distracted drivers, okay or not?
Well, that's a tough one. I won't be able to answer yes or no because it's not black or white. It's a bit more complicated than that. I think it's clearly an invasion of privacy. We have the right to privacy in Canada. This is protected by Section 7 of the Canadian Charter of Rights. For me, this is clear. But it's not because there's a violation of a right that this violation cannot be justified under a free and a free society, right? We already discussed that together a few times. So here in this particular case, I mean, invasion of privacy is certainly clear in the sense that the drone is spying on you while you're driving. So that for me that's pretty obvious. But is this justified? Mm-hmm. Is this necessary to ensure public security? Because when we're talking about public security, usually the courts are way more entitled to justify that sort of violation. Just think about when during Christmas time when you're driving and there's some cops waiting for you on the line and asking you to get out of the car. This has been decided as justified violation of Section 7. So I think there is probably a discussion that we're going to have on this with that regards.
So, we actually reached out to the Montreal Police Force, the SPVM, asked them if they're using drones. They wrote back. They said they're actually studying using drones within the context of Quebec legislation as an additional road safety tool. They say the project currently under development. They won't be able to comment on the matter or present any results so far. But they say this: the use of drones would allow the SPVM, among other things, to carry out road safety operations in areas where it's physically difficult to intervene by vehicle and to address reckless behavior in order to improve the safety of road users. Does that go along to what you said about is it justifiable? Would that be a justifiable excuse there for police to use drones?
Well, actually, that's a very interesting argument in the sense that we cannot reach this or that area, but we need to ensure public security. The drones are the best tool we can have for this. Yeah, we can certainly, the police can certainly plead that because there will be a challenge at one point. If it's not in Quebec, it's going to be elsewhere in Canada, like in Kingston. But we have to recall this as well. I mean, the right to privacy is serious as well. So we need to the court will have to find a balance. And there's another question that we need to ask ourselves, Elias, is that if the evidence gathered by the drones are effective, are they foolproof? Are they safe? Are we sure that this is precisely what we wanted to have? Are those tools efficient? So if not, if there's some whatever default or whatever you call it, then probably that it's going to be reversed. But as of now, what I'm hearing what you're saying right now. I think it's a very interesting argument.
So, but can I ask you this? Because listen, I get the argument, right to privacy. I believe in a right to privacy. But where I'm lost is there actually a right to privacy on Highway 15? You know what I mean? Like, is there a right to privacy when I'm in the left lane of Highway 13 and I'm on my smartphone? I'm not so sure anymore, right? So why do you have a right to privacy as you're driving on a highway and breaking the law?
Well, that's probably the best point somebody could bring up.
Yeah.
Congrats. I mean, I would hire you as a lawyer if I could. Seriously, it's very interesting because the right to privacy does not any longer exist in a way when you're driving for obvious reason, and the obvious reason is ensuring the public security. That is for sure. But now, if I'm talking to you as a constitutional professor, I mean, we need to keep in mind that rights are rights are rights. You cannot violate them just for the fun of it. You cannot violate them if you're not sure that the tool is safe and efficient. We need to violate those rights if necessary, if it is justified, and if it is a minimum of encroachment to the right itself. So this is what the court's going to have to decide, but frankly, as you said, well, there's already a road open there for the cops to bring, I guess.
Can I ask you to wrap up here on the slippery slope argument, right? Because I mentioned this yesterday on the show. Okay, they use it to catch bad drivers, and everyone's like, oh, this is a great idea. But what if they decided, well, we're going to use the drones to hover above backyards and find people who are contravening certain laws, like the law about fences around pools or whatever it is? Is there a slippery slope argument here? You allowed for this, well, then it'll be allowed for a whole bunch of other things?
A very interesting argument as well, again, but I think that there's a big difference here because when we're talking about the right to privacy, it obviously depends on where you're at, right? Mm-hmm. If you are at the custody in the airport, you don't have any right to privacy. Let's be serious. If I'm in my bathroom, I do have, I hope, at least a maximum right to privacy. If I'm in my backyard, well, it's less than in my bathroom, but it's more than the airport, right? Uh-huh. And if I'm driving on the road in my car, I do have less privacy than I do have in my backyard. So it's all a matter of where you're at. What are your expectations? What are your reasonable expectations, obviously? So I think that we could not bring that argument to the backyard. But again, I mean, we're seeing what's happening right now in Occident about fundamental rights. So yes, I think that we need to be very careful. When you violate a right, let's think about what could be the next step.
Frédéric Bérard, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thanks to you.
Frédéric Bérard is a constitutional lawyer at GBM Lawyers.